Welcome to the ultimate guide, the do's and don'ts of wide leg trousers for apple shapes. Wide leg trousers should be, in my personal opinion, be a staple in every woman's wardrobe who has an apple shaped body. Why? Because they are not only easy, they are chic and stylish, they are elegant and timeless. They put us into balance and proportion with our body shape. And best of all, if like me, you are an apple shape, you just want to hide that tummy, that's exactly what they do. They hide that tummy. Wide leg trousers can be an amazing piece for us apple shapes. And I have all the do's and don'ts here. But first, I just want to talk about why so many of you dislike the wide leg trousers. Because you have to analyze a piece in order to understand how it works for your body shape. Now, the wide leg trousers will add extra fabric around the tummy area, allowing the fabric to skim over the tummy. Now, that can also add bulk. And that is why for some people, the wide leg trousers just doesn't work. Now, there are other options that work fantastic for apple shapes. It is simply just a matter of what do you prefer. The wide leg trousers will absolutely hide the tummy, but it'll also hide our amazing legs. It'll also make us bottom heavy where we are already top heavy, meaning they can make us look boxy. This is where the tips and tricks comes in that we'll talk about in a minute, but I want you to really understand what it is that the wide leg trousers do. So as I say, we add extra fabric around the tummy to disguise the tummy, but that extra fabric can make it look square and bottom heavy. So we need to balance it all out. Some apple shapes will prefer to have less fabric around their tummy area, and for those who prefer that, and especially if you are petite, you might get swamped in the wide leg trousers, the flat fronted trousers may work better for you. A flat fronted pair of wide leg trousers will more than likely go more as a straight pair of trousers. They will also sit a little bit more boxy on you, so it's very, very important that if you are wearing the flat fronted ones, the straight legs, that you make sure to really, really define that waist, otherwise you'll just look very rectangular. Pleats are your best friend as an apple shape. However, they have to be the right pleats. I cannot sit and tell you which pleat is the right one for you because that is so individual. It is trial and error. There are some pleats that start further down on the trousers versus starting up higher. There are some that have two folds, some that has one fold, depending on where the pleats sit as well. Unfortunately, it is trial and error because it's so individual to how it works on your exact tummy. So don't be afraid of the pleats. Don't be afraid of trying on a gazillion pairs of trousers until you find the right ones. Don't give up because the wide leg trousers truly are amazing for us apple shaped. But be aware of the pleats. They do add extra fabric. However, they are also what hides the tummy. So you need to get the balance right with those pleats. The length of your wide leg trousers play a huge part in the fit because wide leg trousers, because they skim beautifully over the tummy, they will fall beautifully, but if they end in the wrong length, it will look completely off. Now, too much length on a pair of wide leg trousers will simply just swamp you and again add to the bulkiness at the bottom, and we are trying to balance ourselves out, which is why it's so important to get the length correct. So if you have too much fabric at the bottom, it'll scrunch up and just make your feet area look bulky and ruin the silhouette of the smooth and sleek wide leg trousers. If your trousers are too short, you will simply just cut the length of your legs off and it'll make you look stumpy and shorter than what you actually are. And that's not the look we're going for. The correct length of the wide leg trousers is when they hit the floor without hitting the floor. Basically, you want your wide leg trousers to just skim where the heel finishes on the floor with your trousers. Be it flats or heels, that doesn't matter. The length should be the same. You may have to invest in two pair of trousers, one to wear with flats and one to wear with heels, but getting the length correctly is alpha and omega of the wide leg trousers because it will ruin the silhouette if the trousers isn't the right length. Shoes is next on the list, and which shoes to wear with which outfit is often a jungle for many of us. But look at it this way, you have a bulky piece of fabric like the wide leg trousers. If you add a bulky pair of shoes, you are going to add bulk to bulk and you're going to ruin the balance and proportions in your outfit. So don't wear the chunky sneakers, don't wear the chunky Chelsea boots. Instead, wear a slimline sneaker, instead wear a slimmer boot. The pointy toe is without a doubt the best shoe shape for us apple shapes. Be it a heel or be it a flat, that's completely up to you. Just make sure the length of the trousers is correct. Now, the pointiness of the shoe adds a bit of an angle to a round body shape, which is a good thing. But most importantly, a pointy shoe will elongate our legs. It'll make our legs look longer, and with that, we'll look taller and we'll look slimmer, which again adds a bit of balance and proportions to our round body shape. So if possible, add a pointy toe to your shoe collection just so you have the different options. But as I say, you can absolutely wear them with sneakers. I would just go for a slimline sneaker. Now that we have the wide leg trousers with the right fit, the right trousers, the right length, we are going to move to the rest of our outfit, because the rest of our outfit is just as important as the wide leg trousers themselves. It's not difficult to pair anything with wide leg trousers. The way I want you to look at it, it's like a golden rule when you're out shopping or when you're making outfits. If you're wearing bulky at the bottom, you wear fitted at the top. If you wear bulky at the top, you wear fitted at the bottom. That is how the balance and the proportion goes in our outfit. However, we have, with the wide leg trousers, added the bulk at the bottom. So guess what we need to wear at the top? We need to wear something fitted. And just to show you that if you wear a bulky top with the bulky wide leg trousers, you will look bigger, you will look heavier, you will look out of balance and proportions. And obviously that's not what we want in our outfits. And if it is, that's okay, then you do you, okay? Just gotta add that in there. But the bulky on bulky will just look extra bulky and we will look bigger than what we really are. So instead, I want you to go for the fitted top, something that sits snug to the body. And I know that can be scary for a lot of people. It took me a long time to get used to the different balance and proportion, because I was so used to wearing the oversized at the top because I just wanted to hide my tummy. However, a fitted top suits us so much better, and it goes in the balance with the proportions of our body shape, working with the wide leg trousers, and there is no tummy in sight, as I need you to remember with those wide leg trousers. So go for a fitted top, and that can be any kind of top that you want. There's no limit to which kind of top you want. Just remember to have that fitted look at the top when you're wearing the bulkiness at the bottom. For those of you who are really worried about wearing a fitted top, you can always add a layer. And the layer can look in any way that you want it to be. That could be a blazer, kimono, a cardigan, a gilet, a vest top. That can be anything you want it to be. Again, just make sure that you don't add bulk to bulk. So make sure that you have something that is fitted. Something like the waistcoat that I'm wearing today. Can you see I have a layer over my trousers? However, it's fitted to my waist, meaning I still look in balance and proportions in my outfit, even though I have the fluffier sleeves on. So it's all about working those proportions. It's all about working those different silhouettes. And in fairness, just because I tell you this is the silhouette that works fantastic for apple shape, does not mean to say that is the silhouette that works perfect for you and your personal style. So don't be afraid to play around with the different silhouettes and the different pieces in your wardrobe to get the look just the way you want it. I'm just here giving you a few tips and tricks that can help you put you into balance and proportions. Whatever you choose to wear at the end of the day is up to you. For us apple shapes, when we're wearing the wide leg trousers, the rule of third is extremely important. Many of us apple shapes, because we are wider at the midriff, we don't have much of a natural waist. We need to create one. And this is where it gets a little bit scary. And I don't think it's scary, because it took me years to get to the point where I am now. I did it with trial and error and a lot of practice at home before I even ventured out the door. But the rule of third, in order to keep it in place, the easiest way to do it is to tuck your tops. And yes, I know it's scary. I know as apple shapes, we are all naturally screaming, I'm not tucking the top. And it's okay. If you don't want to tuck, I'm not going to force you. It is completely up to you. And we'll talk about that in a minute. However, tucking your top will put the rule of third instantly into place in your outfit, putting the balance and proportion back in your outfit. It will create a waist where many of us don't have one. And next step is to add a belt. And once you add a belt, you really define your waist. I have talked about this in a gazillion videos, so I'll leave it up to you to just rummage through the videos that I have. But adding that belt will really define the waist. Now, tucking your top, adding the belt defines the waist, keeps the rule of third in place. If you are still very, very insecure about wearing an outfit like this, if you're just starting out, then add the layer. And this is where the cardigans and the blazers, the gilets, those kind of loose fabrics can come in. Just make sure you are showing your waistline at the front, because that is where the rule of third will keep you in balance and proportion. So I'm rambling here. So yes, I was saying the length of your top plays a huge part in the proportions of your outfit. So make sure you keep that rule of third in place and make sure to really define the waist. For those of you who are not quite ready to tuck your tops, defining your waist is still extremely important. Keep that rule of third in mind, meaning the top half of your outfit with the wide leg trousers should be the third, and then you have the trousers, which will be the 2/3. This means that, again, the length of your top needs to hit you just in the right place. I would say a rough guide should be around your belly button, but I don't have, it all depends on the length of your torso, etc. Just make sure that it hits you maybe around the waistband or a little bit longer, but that it's not so long that it goes down and hide your tummy. The trousers takes care of hiding the tummy, remember? So we don't need to worry about that. Equally, you can add that layer on top if you are still very, very insecure. Now, the belt actually gives you a focal point on your outfit, but if you're wearing a top over the waistband, you're not going to see the belt, and the belt buckle might just add a bulk there. However, just keep these things in mind, play around with them, but do make sure that your top has the right length so it doesn't cover your tummy and makes you look out of balance and proportion. Keep the rule of third in mind, and then maybe give the tucking a try, because it is so flattering on us apple shapes. I know it sounds crazy. It goes against everything that we've always been taught and everything we feel we should be doing with our outfit. But I promise you, once you learn to tuck your tops, you add those belts just to define that waist, you're flying girl, and it's so flattering on our body shapes. As a side note, I just want to mention shoulder pads and our shoulder area. Not something most of us think about when we're talking about apple shapes. However, many apple shapes are heavy around the midriff. We have narrow legs, and then we equally have a narrow chest and narrow shoulders. This is where shoulder pads can be a lifesaver when you're wearing wide leg trousers. Because we are adding the bulk at the bottom half, all of a sudden our shoulder area might just look a little bit too small. Adding a pair of shoulder pads into our tops, you can get them in a packet on Amazon very inexpensively, and I just stick them in with a safety pin. You're not going to see it anyway. And then I have the instant shoulder pad, and I just take it out when the clothes needs to be washed. Adding that shoulder pad can really add more proportion to our outfits. As I say, it doesn't work for everyone, but if you feel that something may be a little bit off wearing the wide leg trousers, try those shoulder pads. Equally, okay, I have to say, there is no one in this world, in my personal opinion, that should be wearing drop shoulders. Drop shoulders are not flattering. And when you are already a rounded shape, especially as a plus size gal, wearing a drop shoulders just make you look rounder and makes you look bulkier than what you actually are. Looks you out of balance and proportions. So please, 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 I wish I could make this a law. Banish those drop shoulders from your wardrobe, please. Please make sure that your shoulder seams sits on your shoulders. It just looks far more elegant, stylish, balanced, clean, chic. Any word I can put on. Drop shoulders, and just so you know, shoulder pads under a drop shoulder just doesn't work. No, don't even try, please. No. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope you are now ready to go in and try and tackle those wide leg trousers. Don't be afraid of them. And remember, when it comes to outfits, creating outfits, learning about style and fashion, it is all trial and error. There is no magic pill, no magic solution, unless you want to hire a personal stylist. Details are in the description. It is a trial and error to put these things together, and it very much depends on your personal style and your personal body shape. If you made it this far and sat through the ads, thank you so much. That's how you're helping my channel. Would you do me one last favor for today and leave me a brown heart in the comments? The heart is simply just to let me and the algorithm know that you enjoyed my content enough to stay to the end. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.